Is Harold Halibut worth our time? We're about to find out. Welcome, everyone, to episode 173 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, can I have a last name like a fish?
Sure. It's better than a bunch of first names.
This is true. This episode... Yes, we are talking about Harold Halibut, developed by Slow Bros, and this game came out April of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So not too long from this recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I play this on the PC per usual, and I'm actually surprised. This is. I took a double take when I was rereading this, but it was 51.36 gigabytes on the PC. Tom, what about you?
Ever so slightly larger on the Series S, 52.04 gigabytes.
It's very hefty.
It is it's a big game for what it is. And what is it, Chris? What type of game?
Good. I like that segue right there. I wrote a 3D side-scrolling adventure game.
I like it. I like it better than what I have. I have third-person narrative adventure, and I put adventure in quotation marks because we'll talk about it.
Sure. Well, let's talk about that game loop then.
I have walk around and interact with characters and objects in order to trigger cutscenes and advance that plot.
Yeah, I wrote move left and right in this underwater station to complete tasks and figure out what's going on.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What is going on with your likes, Chris?
Tom is just on it. You are on it right now, sir. I appreciate this. I will say this game was so quirky looking. I loved it because it kind of gave me vibes of like Mr. Rogers' Puppets, a little bit of Wallace and Gromit, and yeah. So that was and the Neverhood. That was actually Larry from World 1-1 podcast had jumped on my stream, and he said the Neverhood. I was like, oh my god, like I totally forgot about that game. And yes, this game has those vibes as well. And yeah, I thought it's such a unique, like they're like slightly disturbing looking, almost like Tim Burton-esque even too. And yeah, but I was here for it. I was here for these little weirdo looking people. What about you, Tom?
I did enjoy the storytelling,
right? The
cinematics. I think the segue from the opening cinematic into the gameplay was like, ooh, perfect.
Yeah. It was, yeah. I think, yeah, they did a good job of kind of setting the stage for where you were. You know, the other thing I was just thinking about, the game almost made you feel like you were playing in like a dollhouse in a way.
Yes. Like the perspective and the way that it's set up
and everything is set up. It was like, wow. I'm just like moving this character along. Like this whole thing was just some sort of kid playing with his toys and stuff like that. But the other cool thing is this game is fully voice acted.
Yes. That's where the size comes from, I'm guessing.
Maybe. But I enjoyed that. I appreciate it. And I think they all were pretty well voice acted as well. So yeah, I thought that was just kind of cool. And well, I thought that just like all the little things in this game, they had there's such a unique style to it overall. And like, even the way you started the game was just kind of like old school-y. And then like you have your little PDA system, your menu system that was just kind of like a quirky little, like device that you would probably see from days of yore, you know? And it was like, well, I really like that they just kind of put their whole leg in it and made this game. I was like, what is going on? I was just so surprised by this game. But anyway, go on. What did you like? What else did you like?
I think the setting was interesting. I liked the underwater tube city. Gave me some pretty major BioShock, Rapture vibes.
Yeah. And I guess we can kind of get into the story a little bit, at least from what we saw the first hour. at least from what I understand, you play as the titular character, Harold, and he works as like a maintenance guy on this underwater city, and you come to find out this is not on planet Earth. This is several thousand years, I believe, in the future, where Earth is now an afterthought. They've left Earth. They tried to find new planets to live on, and they happened to land on this planet that was completely filled with water. But I don't think it's like water that they can swim around in either.
Yeah. It sounds like to me, from what I gathered from the story, is that from Earth, this looked like a very promising planet, but it was a very long trip.
Yeah.
So by the time they get there, it's too late to turn around, and they realize the planet is actually not that great.
Yeah.
And so you basically end up with the spaceship underwater on this planet. And, it's all about kind of maintaining humanity on this spaceship. And the woman that you work for, she's like the lead scientist on the station. Yeah. She has aspirations for getting out of there, moving on to greener pastures. Mm-hmm. And you're playing kind of this dolt of a character where you are just her assistant, her gopher,
Right. And it was just like a kind of cozy-ish game, I would say, because like there's not much action. There's a lot of dialogue. Yeah. And you're just learning about this world and what Harold has going on in his day-to-day life. You definitely meet some weird guys, like the guy in the lounge, in the employee lounge. Yeah. Chris is his name. Blonde hair and just wearing a bathrobe or something like that, and just chilling, watching TV over there. I was like, okay, I wish I could do that. But anyway, such is life. Any other things you want to bring up here?
Talking about the PDA, I think the PDA and mission log did a really good job of keeping me on task. Yeah. Kind of thing we complained about on the little Gator game.
Yes, we did.
It was not hard in this game to know what you were supposed to be doing. Sometimes maybe you could have used a map or some directions on how to do it. Right. But you always knew what you were supposed to be doing. I also appreciated that, like, as you completed things, Harold made doodles in the journal. Yes. So you don't have like a completed, like a log in terms of words of what you've done. Right. But he is keeping a log of what he's done, and it's by way of these doodles. And so I thought it was a really cool way of doing, like, taking notes on what you've completed is like, like flipping through these doodles.
I gotta say, they were pretty terrible doodles.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's you were saying how unique this game is in its style and stuff. Like that was great. It was
absolutely. And again, like they just leaned into it. I mean, it makes you also wonder: is Harold a little like, a little slow or something? I don't know.
It is a very like British kind of humor. Yeah. So like, it's very dry and very like, is this supposed to be funny here? I'm not quite sure. Sometimes
like just like sort of being uncomfortable with being uncomfortable or whatever.
Yes. But yes, very much. Very Monty Python-esque.
Yeah. But okay, cool. If you're good to go, we could move on to our dislikes then.
Let's roll.
Let us roll and into a stop, because the game is pretty slow. Because it is.
Oh my God, the pace.
There, it is like at first I was getting flashbacks of several of the games that we played before, where like you're either first person or something like that, but they don't allow you to run. This game does allow you to run. It's just at a brisk jog, maybe at the most, but it is still slow though. You're just kind of going through Harold's tasks and meeting the people. They're weird people, but you meet them, and that's basically it from the first hour at least. So
yeah, I put as a note here, most of the game is just watching cutscenes.
Yeah.
You know,
you're not wrong.
You walk around, you talk to people. For the longest time, I didn't know you could run. I figured that out pretty late.
Yeah.
And then, like, when you start running, it looks weird. Like, you know, the animation seems kind of off. Walking on the stairs, it's weird. He's like taking them 2 or 3 at a time and doing this weird, stretchy Gumby thing. Like,
Gumby's another one that this definitely gives me vibes of. Yeah. Harold is an interesting character. I think he's the only character also that didn't have a British accent, if I'm not mistaken. At least the ones that I've seen so far, which I thought was interesting. But you know, Harold has no agency with him. Like, I feel like you've got a task list. You got to get this stuff done for other people. But what does Harold want? What's his motivation? What is Harold? You know,
I couldn't tell you. I put down that he's uncivilized because he wears his boots in bed.
I put that down too. And you know, it's so weird because he does have a closet. It's like right next to the bed. So why couldn't they just at least put a little animation or like a thing to interact with where you just change your clothes and then go to bed? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That was very disappointing that Harold sleeps in his shoes.
Yeah.
Not cool, man. And suspender. He had his whole because he's like the handyman. He had his whole like work belt on him and he went to sleep in that. Who does that?
Yeah. Who sleeps with a wrench in their belt?
Man, it just makes no sense. Come on, guys.
I've got to say that I know that you enjoyed the look of these characters and things. It did not do it for me.
No.
Everybody looks like a clay person.
Yeah.
And they all just kind of look really, to me, like unsettling. It's like that uncanny valley thing.
But it's so far from uncanny valley.
No, you're right.
But I get what you're saying. It's just like they're just slightly odd enough. You're like, that doesn't look right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's like humans if they were all very plasticky and weird looking. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like they could have gone more animated, more cartoony, and that probably would have been better for me. Like if they had done like a Wallace and Gromit, right? Where it's like the features and stuff are exaggerated and things. It's like, oh, okay. This is, animation.
Yeah. I also just felt bad for Harold because I feel like the head scientist lady just yelled at him all the time. And I was like, come on. Doesn't seem like that bad of a guy. Might be a little bit slow, but come on. The developers' names are Slow Bros. Come on, like let's just have a good time here. That's all.
Yeah. Got a couple of Pokemon making the game and
yeah, exactly. That's fine. But I don't know. It's just I felt bad, but I was also just kind of curious about what the heck is going on because there seems to be some sort of politics involved in this game. But
yeah, the city is definitely weighed down in bureaucracy. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's the guy who just yells at you about particular bylaws and whatnot. Yep. You're like, what are you doing? Get out of here. But it's fine. Everything's fine. Maybe. We only played the first hour. What else did you not like here?
I have also, because this one was weird to me, like just like it didn't teach me how to run, I had to figure that out myself.
Right.
There's a point where you have to, one of your tasks is to clean the filter.
Yeah.
And then you like open up a panel to clean the filter. And it's just kind of like this weird puzzle game with no instructions.
Yeah.
And I was like, weird. I just pressed, all the buttons until something worked, basically. But I don't know. That's not a good way to make a puzzle, guys.
Right. Especially since you have a PDA system and all that stuff. You would think he'd at least have maybe like the handbook on how to clean the filter or whatever. Or a doodle. Maybe he had a doodle somewhere too.
The other thing that I got the impression is that this is a task that Harold has to do all the time.
Yeah.
And so if Harold knows how to do it, what am I doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why am I struggling through it?
Yeah.
He should have at least had some dialogue there being like, oh, they changed the system or something.
That's fair. That would have been a good idea for them to do. Well, Slow Bros, maybe Halibut too. But
yeah.
Or they can
How about Halibut too?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I got nothing else here. Should we go into our other thoughts then?
Ditto. Let's move on.
Let's move on. How Long to Beat says this game takes about 9 hours to complete. So a short experience.
Yeah.
So, and this is Xbox Play Anywhere, and it has Xbox Cloud saves. So, take your gaming where you want. So that's great. Good times.
Bring it everywhere.
Bring it everywhere. Bring that halibut anywhere you want. What you got, Tom?
More portable than the fish. So I found some things out. Okay. The game originates back in 2012. It was an idea to combine traditional story games and stop motion animation. Mm-hmm. I think we see both of those things here. Very narrative focus, but also all stop motion. The characters, the sets, everything like that was handcrafted. So they are, modeled out of clay and real materials. And then it was done just like a stop motion film where it's photographed, and done by frames and scanned into a computer. And
wow.
Yeah. And extra impressive because they are a small team. Mm-hmm. They're based in Germany. And this is their first full game.
Very cool.
They have some experience with VR, things and some interactive art, but this is their first full-fledged game. So quite a undertaking for,
Yeah, definitely. That's impressive. Good on you, Slow Bros. It does seem like it was a long development cycle, I will say.
Yes, and it seems like while the idea may go back that far, even just working on the game seems like it took a long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, we talked about Tim Burton earlier. Like, if you're setting out to make a stop motion film, that cycle is long.
Yeah.
So think about something like this, which is interactive, and you make it even longer.
Yep.
Because you got to make a whole lot more content than 90 minutes of film.
I am curious if maybe they were also influenced by the Neverhood Chronicles and all that stuff as well. I mean, it might have been. That's cool. Maybe we'll interview them. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, those are all our thoughts then, Tom. We're good to go. We can close the show.
Yes.
Just kidding. We do need to find out our final thoughts here, Tom. Is this game going to be staying on our respective hard drives, or are we going to be tossing it into the ocean minus the ship?
Yes, right. Take Harold Halibut and shoot him out the airlock.
There
basically.
You go. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, spoiler alert. This one is just way too slow for me. I really think that this would have been better as a film or a series. Like, there's not enough game here. And when there is a game, it's like, clean the filters. We're not going to tell you what to do. So, I don't know. To me, like, what's even the point? Like, turn it into, it's like a Scarlet Nexus situation.
Scarlet Nexus, yep.
Turn it into some other kind of medium, and maybe I would enjoy it. But as it is given to us, I'm not going to spend another 8 hours on this.
Ooh, okay. Well, for me, this game has something. This has been a game I've seen since I think like they did like a Steam demo week or whatnot. I saw a friend of the show, Dave Jackson from Tales from the Backlog, play it. And I was like, this game is so weird, so unique looking. I just had to try it. I'm glad we got a chance to try it. And just the world just seems so weird. Like I do want to like just keep exploring it a little bit. Just see what is there a bigger mystery? Is there something out there that I need to learn more about? Because it is kind of weird that they've landed on this planet, and are they going to die, or what's going on? It may be some dark humor that comes out of it. I don't know. So
yeah, and we, to be fair, we only played the first 10%. Right? Sure, it'd be hard to judge a movie on the first 10%. So.
Yes, this is true. But yeah, those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter at TC1H1D, or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, send us a comment down below. Maybe who is your favorite character in Harold Halibut? Mine is Harold, but you know, whatever. We also do. We've got a backlog of reviews. Check them all out there. Send us a comment on those too. Why not? Sure. And 1H1D is part of that QTB network. And if you like any great gaming content, check it all out at quitthebill.com/network.
Flawlessly executed.
Flawless victory. Thank you.
And now we can just go, right?
We can just go and find out what we're playing next, Tom. Because the surprise me button is ready to go. So here we go. Okay, another racing game, Tom. Grid Legends.
Okay, I have not played any of the grids. Let's get on the grid.
Let's get on the grid. And, well, that is that for this episode. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.